All right, students, this is question number 5 about a snowstorm. If you'll take a few seconds and hit pause, go ahead and read the question all the way through and try to pull out all the information you think is necessary to solve this question. All right, here's what I found. I found that it snowed at the start. It snowed 2 inches an hour for 2 hours. That means when we started off with no snow on the ground, so that would be a 0, 0. It's an ugly 0. Let's make those look prettier. Okay, 0, 0. Okay, so it started with no snow, and after 2 hours, it was 2 inches per hour, so that's a total of 2 hours, and we had 4 inches on the ground. Let's see what happened. It slowed down to 1 inch an hour for an additional hour before stopping. Okay, so then our second leg is going to be 2, 4, and then it snowed for 1 additional hour, so that would make this 3. But it was only 1 inch an hour, so this would only go up to 5. Okay, so now let's see. We got a dot right here. After 2, it hit 4. Okay. And then it snowed slower, which means you would go up to 3, 5, somewhere around right there. Okay, what happened then? 3 hours after it snowed stopped, it began to melt. Okay, so that means for 3 hours, from 3 to 6, it stayed the same level. And then it started going down. And it looks like it began to melt 1/2 of an inch an hour for 2 hours. Okay, if it's 1/2 of an inch an hour, and it's 2 hours, then it only went down 1 inch. So here's where it stayed the same at 3, 5 to 6, 5. And then here's where it started to melt at 6, 5. And remember, it was only 2 hours, so that would be, we would have to add, so that would be 6 to 8 hours, and it dropped only by 1 inch. So that would be 4. Okay, notice 8 isn't on here, but we would presume it's right there. But I can only drop an inch, so that means I'd have to be right here. And it dropped an inch. Okay, so that's what my graph is going to look like. Okay, what all does it want me to answer? It tells me, is the graph continuous or discrete? Remember, continuous means you can have an inch, 1/2 an inch, 1/4 inch, 3/4 inches, 1 and 2/4 inches. In other words, all your fractional parts are allowed. Therefore, since all the fractional parts are allowed, it is continuous. Oh, I'm missing an O-U-S. Continue. Okay, come on, eraser, work for me today. It's continuous. Okay, let's see. Now it wants the domain. Remember, the domain is the set of all the x's in this relation. So it starts right here, and it runs all the way through right here. So for my domain, it's going to start at 0. And it's going to run through all my time. And I want to include the number 8. That's an 8, okay? I'll pretend it is. Okay, now going to change my color so you can see this a little bit easier. So for my range, I'm going to start right here. Good, at 0. But the highest this one goes is to right here. Yes, I know the graph goes a little bit further, but that would be the graph settings. We'll need that for later. This is going to start at 0. And we're looking at snow in inches. So we're going to just say snow. And it goes all the way up through 5. Okay. You're going to need to write all this data down, because we're going to need to recreate this for the Desmos. So here we go. We're going to start at 0 for my x's. And now let's do this. Let's make this a part 2. So part 1 would have been how to solve this, get your answers and get a picture of the graph. Part 2 is going to be how to use Desmos. So write all the information down and then go to part 2 video.